Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Louis, and I will be your host for this episode of the Occupied Zero Protest Channel Show. I guess that's what we're calling it now. I don't have a great acronym for that. And I wanted to touch on a subject tonight, which I'm sure people are becoming aware of as I send out more and more and more invites to the protest website. And that is that this is a one-man show right now. And I understand that. And I understand that people don't know what Occupied Zero is. If they do know, maybe they're not sure if they want to participate in the protest or not. And I'm sure that there's plenty of people out there that just either ignored what I said to them or just don't care and don't want to get involved. And that's fine. Everybody has to make their own decision. But as for my part, I'm putting 4 hours a day, every day, into this. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is grab myself a cup of coffee, sit down at my computer, check my emails, check my voicemails, check all of my communicado information. And then once I'm done with that, it's to work on the website. And I'm either working on the website or I'm doing outreach or both. And usually it's some combination of both. I'm trying to put up active content on the website. At the same time, trying to do these videos. And then, of course, tying it together with the Twitter account. And, of course, we have the petition page if you wish to sign the petition. And the petition, the protest, the website, the only thing that's not really functional right now, and I really regret this, is Facebook. And the reason that Facebook is not going right now is that I made a historically accurate quote that was meant to inspire debate. And the quote was, "Truth is the enemy of the state." And the quote was from Joseph Goebbels, who is the Nazi minister of propaganda in World War II. And the point of this post was to show that statement, "Truth is the enemy of the state," is true no matter what state you're talking about. It's almost always the truth. I'm sure that there may be exceptions, maybe some little country I don't know about in the middle of Asia or something. I get my stands confused. Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan. I get all my stands confused. Afghanistan. And so, I'm a little bit fuzzy on that area of the world. My apologies. But the reason that I'm sticking through this and I'm doing this day after day after day, and now it's week after week, and will continue to be week after week, is that there's my dad used to call it Louis' law of large numbers. And Louis' law of large numbers means that the more stuff you throw out there, the more likely something is to stick. Or you could say it's like throwing stuff at a wall. Throw a bunch of stuff at a wall and something will stick. Maybe the rest of it will fall off. I could lead a horse to water, but I cannot make anyone drink. I really do believe that conducting an economic protest during the busiest shopping/travel holiday season of the year is the best time to strike. That's the best time. I know that a lot of people have a lot of feelings for May Day, May 5th. All right, May 5th has historical precedent and historical value. That's great. But we're not fighting against historians here. We're fighting against capitalists. And if you want to fight against capitalists, the only language they understand is profit. That's it. That's the only word in their language is profit. If there's not profit attached to it, it doesn't happen. If there's not profit attached to it, it doesn't exist. This is the system that we're going up against. And the only way that you're going to get their complete and undivided attention is when you start taking money out of their pockets. That's when you'll start to see capitalists negotiate or come to the negotiating table. When they start losing money, hand over fist, they'll come to the table. And not a minute before. Not a minute before. And, you know, I've got less than 5 minutes here, but let's go down a few things that we've tried that have not worked. Protesting. I'm not going to say that protesting doesn't work. Protesting pushes the needle forward. Protesting gets the message out to the people. Protesting shows the government that you're dissatisfied and that you want change and that you're demanding change. Protest gets all of that accomplished. Now then, having said that, the question is, how effective is protesting at changing policy? And I'm just going to take an example from the Black Lives Matter people this year. First of all, I think they've done a fantastic job overall. The problem is that their demands were for police reform and police accountability. And it's because of actions like chokeholds and no-knock warrants and all the rest of it that these people are getting killed by. Well, all of these statutes, all of these rules, all of these regulations were put into place after Richard Nixon declared the war on drugs in the United States of America, followed up by George H.W. Bush, followed up by Ronald Reagan, not in that order, the reverse order. And it's never stopped. And it still hasn't stopped until this day. How can you have trust between police and the black community if the police are enforcing racist drug laws? You can't have peace. Everybody says no justice, no peace. The problem are not the cops. I'm sorry, the cops' job is to follow the law. If you really want to get to the heart of the problem, you have to change the law. And that's one of the goals of this protest, is to show what we can do when we coordinate ourselves together for a single action, for a single purpose, for one weekend. 4 days is all I'm asking. And I don't think that's too much to ask, because when I did my television detox, which I did, I was 21 years old, 20 years old. This was back in 1990, when I was 20 years old. I decided to take 3 months off from everything. No television, no radio, no newspapers, no magazines, nothing. I completely removed myself from the entire equation for 3 months. And I really wish people could actually do this nowadays, because what I experienced when I came back was shocking. As soon as I turned the television on, I realized how aggressively people were trying to mold my thought processes and my belief system and my intelligence. They were literally yelling things into the television. In fact, they still do it. If you watch TV, everything's really loud. Everything's really loud because everybody has to try and get your attention over everybody else. This is what our consumer capitalism is turned into. And it's not pretty. So, yes, I'm just one person, and I'm sitting in my car doing another video on my wonderful GoPro 5 Hero Black, which I can't say enough about. I mean, just an aside here, I'm going to give a plug to GoPro. These videos would not be possible without GoPro. I'd be using my iPhone camera. The GoPro gives you just that little bit extra technology-wise. I still shoot all my videos at 1080p. What's the point? Even if you put it up at 4K, who's going to be watching your video in 4K on YouTube? Not many. But a lot of people will watch, standard definition and high definition. 1080p is plenty for YouTube, in my opinion. Unless you're doing gaming, and then you've got a lot more details that you need to be concerned about. But for regular video, this works just fine. So again, another rambling video. We're at 10 minutes. I'll wrap this up. This doesn't have to be a one-man show. It doesn't have to be a one-man show. And in fact, I hope that there are people out there that get excited about this, because I'm laying it down raw. I'm laying it down raw. If you read the opening on the Facebook page, the first post on the Occupy Zero Facebook page lays out clearly what this is all about, as does the front page of the official website. We've tried protesting, we've tried writing letters, we've tried petitions. I've tried 4 times to get Barack Obama to strike down the indefinite detention clause in the National Defense Authorization Act of 2012, the act that took all of your civil rights away. I wrote him 4 times about that, telling him that he needed to get that law struck down and get it off the books, because Donald J. Trump is a fascist and he was going to be president. And if you didn't pull the plug now, we're going to have a fascist president with the powers of a goddamn emperor. And that's exactly what Trump got. Fortunately for us, he was too stupid to use it. I'm sorry. I mean, Trump, I don't like the guy. I can't imagine any circle of people that I will ever be involved with where Donald Trump will be there. Ever. Ever. It's never going to happen. And if it does happen, I'm going to laugh. I don't even know how to, I can't say that I hate the guy, because he's never done anything to me personally, but just as a human being, I just despise everything that he's about. He's a serial habitual liar, and the problem isn't that he's a liar. The problem is that he's a bad liar. He's a horrible liar. You get somebody like a Biden or an Obama in there, and they're still going to lie to you, but they're going to make you think it's the truth, because they're actually politicians and not just a bumbling fool. Anyway, that's enough about Trump. I really didn't want to end this. Biden is not going to be much better. I'm sorry to the rest of the world. If you think that Biden is going to be a fresh breath of fresh air, I have news for you. We have resumed our banging of the drum against Russia, which stopped when Donald Trump got elected president. Now they're banging the drum again. And now we're banging the drum against China. See how quickly that was? You get rid of one anti-war president, and we go right back to the same game that we were playing before in 2016. I bet the next step, here's the first 3 things that Biden did in his presidency. First, he waits 50 days to come out with any kind of a public quote about anything. And he spends the entire discussion, I don't even know how long the speech was. It must have been 45 minutes. It felt like an hour. Where all he talked about was the plague, was COVID-19. That was it. He got up, he talked about masks, he talked about policies, he talked about this. It was all about the fucking virus. It had nothing to do with fixing the country. Now he comes out again, and what are his second and third moves? Piss off Russia and piss off China. Sanctions on fucking Russia, sanctions on China. The people at home are really pissed, so what are they going to do? They're going to send us to war again. Dear people of the world, I am an American. My name is Lewis. I do not support or condone the use of military force against nations that don't deserve it. I do not support our $700 billion a year defense budget. I vehemently oppose it and everything to do with it. And I'm not the only American who thinks that. I'm not the only one. And you know what? I think that's a fantastic place to end this Video, we're at 15 minutes. And I've reached my destination. One man alone can't do it. But with your help, we can get something done. Question is, are you going to do anything? And if you're going to do something, what?